San Diego State continues to be one of the toughest teams to beat in college football, and that should be the same this year. Today, we take a look at the top 10 players for the Aztecs in 2023. Everything starts with JALEN MAYDEN, and the former safety took over at quarterback last year after this offense struggled quite a bit. And I'm not saying that he necessarily stabilized it enough where you thought they were elite, but they were definitely better than what they were at the beginning of the year. MAYDEN is an athletic player who can make things happen with his arm and with his legs. You'd like to see him take a step forward as a passer. That's probably going to be the biggest thing to keep an eye on. He is still pretty raw as a passer, but the athleticism, the ability to extend plays, and the ability to make plays with his arm too is going to set him apart from the rest of these guys, and it's going to make this offense better. You'll see that he moves the ball more efficiently than the other quarterbacks they had, especially last year. Last year they were in desperate need for someone consistent, and JALEN MAYDEN was the guy that provided that to them. Now the guy joining him in the backfield, there's a couple options here, but CHRISTON honestly has explosive potential. His stats don't say that, but when you watched him in the bowl game, you saw a guy who can break off big plays. Now, he is a sophomore, so you're looking at someone who's pretty young, still early in the process, still has the chance to break out. But if he puts it all together, this tandem of MAYDEN and CHRISTON is going to be one of the most explosive in college football. And obviously, there's a couple of things that will affect that, especially MAYDEN's ability to throw the ball. Now, who he's throwing to is a big question too, but you do get Mark REDMAN back, the former Washington transfer, good size at 6'6", 250. And again, another one of those guys, the stats still for San Diego State, your offense just isn't going to be the most explosive. You won't see an offense that's lighting up scoreboards. Now they have the ability to do that. You just don't see that with the kind of offense that they'll run and the question marks that you have at certain positions. A lot of these skill position players, and we talked about three of them already, they need to take steps forward, especially REDMAN and CHRISTON. You see, if they are able to take steps forward, have breakout seasons, this offense is really fun. So having a guy like REDMAN back gives you a big target downfield. It gives MAYDEN a little bit of extra room for error. So that really helps. And then when you look at what they have returning up front, MAYDEN should be just fine. Now there are a couple guys you'll have to replace, but CADE BENNETT does return, all conference type player, only 1 full year of experience, but you saw what the former Oklahoma State transfer could do. He is a solid body at 6'3", 315, someone who is going to open up running lanes for the rushing attack, and you're going to give guys like MAYDEN time to make plays as well, whether that's in the rushing attack or as a passer. That's huge. This is a team that the offense is the X factor. Plain and simple. There's no question about it. It's been the X factor for a while, and the defense has been a swarming group, especially last year. Last year and the year before, San Diego State was one of the most entertaining defenses to watch. And this year, the front seven won't boast the same tenacity, but it will still try to have that same identity. Now, where they'll thrive is the secondary. DEZJHON Malone is one of many defensive backs that we'll talk about today. Malone is 6'2", 200 pounds, gives you that size that NFL scouts really, really want. And he had a pretty solid year, 3 interceptions last year. I think that honestly, this is a deep secondary. This is one of the best secondaries in college football that does not get enough love. And Malone is just one of those guys that we're going to talk about today. Again, San Diego State, honestly, if you want to go back and watch a really fun group that even though they're not the most talented than some of the teams they're playing, they get after it. They do not let down. They honestly they rally to the football, they make big plays, and they will put you on your butt quicker than you're ready for if you don't give them the respect they deserve. And this year should be the same. It's just a matter of what does that front seven look like, because the secondary is going to be just fine. Another guy we'll talk about, Dallas Branch, another productive playmaker for this defense, for this secondary. Two corners in Malone and Branch that will give lots of trouble to the teams that they face. Branch also had 3 interceptions this past year. That's a good duo to have. That's a good group to return. And that's just the beginning of this secondary. Now, when we flip back over the offense, we talked about running back. CHRISTON is back. JALEN ARMSTEAD is also back. Someone who could, ARMSTEAD could be the starter, honestly. You're looking at good size at 220 pounds, averaged 6 yards per carry last year as more of a backup. So now he gets a chance to be the starter. Now he gets an opportunity to showcase what he can do, and someone has to do it because Mayden needs help. And this is going to be an air raid team. This is not an offense that can throw every single play or more frequently than they run. They want to establish the running game. Brady Hoke, it's been in his identity, in his team's identities since he's been a coach in college football. They want to run the ball as much as they can. They want to be efficient so that they open things up for the passing game and have the passing game supplement the rushing game. Jalen Armstead is one guy who could be an absolute unit for this offense. It's just a matter of getting those reps and then obviously taking advantage of the reps that you do get. Now, flipping back to the secondary, like I said, is really fun. And Von Celestine comes in at safety, 6 foot, 190 pounds, and a solid producer last year. This is a group, like I said, it's a deep group. So if you have arguments against one of these guys with someone else, I probably won't argue with you too much because that's how talented this secondary is. That's how talented this group can be. And that's going to help, especially with a front seven that is going through a rebuild. You don't have any returning starters coming back. McDonald's probably the only one that you're going to say has the experience to be able to handle that transition. But this is still a defense going through a transition in terms of identity, in terms of can they be as tenacious, can they be as ferocious as they were last year? That is a tough bar to meet. But with this secondary coming back, you're going to give your front seven plenty of time to get after the quarterback because you have so much talent returning. And another guy that'll help with that, CEDARIUS Barfield. And these safeties aren't the biggest guys. That's just, you look at Barfield, 5'11, 195 pounds. Not the biggest guys, but they are talented and they are playmakers. That's huge. That's probably the biggest thing for this defense is, again, you're not getting 4 and 5 star talent on a regular basis, but you can get 4 and 5 star effort from these guys and 4 and 5 star production because they don't care about the stars. They care about buying into the system. And Brady Hoke's done a great job of running a defense that is tenacious, it takes the light out of an offense because they refuse to quit. And this secondary is not going to benefit from a talented front seven, like I said this year. That's okay. They're fine. They will be talented enough to give that group time to figure things out and get their act together because the offense also needs some time. So having a secondary like this is huge. Now, finally, at the offensive side of the things, again, this group is full of guys that saw time, but not starting time. You're looking at guys that hoping to put up better numbers than they did last year. Nobody had a breakout season that's returning this year. They have the opportunity to break out. And McKay Shaw is another guy that adds to that group. This is a group of, I really like this group. I really like the potential in this offense. It's just a matter of putting it together. Jaden Mayden obviously has things he needs to work on. The skill positions have things they need to work on, and the offensive line has things they need to work on. That's okay. Maybe it means they struggle early. Maybe it means they need some time to figure things out. But San Diego State is still in good hands. This is still a team that, I mean, everybody thought Brady Hoke and San Diego State would take a step back, and they haven't. They have been a tough team to beat. They will continue to be a tough team to beat. And if their offense and front seven on defense can take a step forward or put things together quickly, then watch out for the Aztecs in 2023.